and welcome to another Looney Tunes commentary. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing as it helps out the channel, and give this video a like if you do like it. So this is a commentary for The Haunted Mouse, released in 1941. It's the 315th in the series, and it's directed by Tex Avery. You can find a brand new restoration on the HBO Max streaming service. And yeah, as we can see here on the title screen, we see a very important name. But before we get into that, say hi to my guests, Blue Genocide and Austin Kelly. Say hi, guys.
Hi, and notice Mike Maltese's name being spelled with a Z. Complete disgrace.
I was kind of surprised to see a black and white Tex Avery, to be honest.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, the studio at the time, Schlesinger kind of decided that each unit would split between black and white in color, so, you know, Tex goes back, and that's why Chuck does all those, you know, Porkies and Joe Glow the Firefly and all that stuff. Yeah.
And it's an interesting one because this is not only the first black and white cartoon done by Tex in a fair while, actually, but it's also the first black and white Looney Tunes short that does not feature a recurring character, because ever since the beginning you'd have Bosco, Buddy, Beans, Porky, and now this cat. So yeah, so it's an interesting thing there, and I gotta say the restoration's absolutely gorgeous. Have you seen this restoration before?
Actually, I watched the old VHS print for preparing for this video. Hey, it's Jerry Mouse.
Nice.
Oh, it's interesting how many cat and mouse shorts there really are in Looney Tunes. I should probably count them all up and just see what percentage it is out of the entire lot, because, you know, we'll be recording at some point soon The Cat's Tail. That's another cat and mouse one, so, you know.
Yeah, and by the way, I won't mention it until we get there, but you're going to get demonetized for that video.
Uh-oh.
Well, we'll find out. So, do we know what the technique would have been involved in doing the transparent look, like for the mouse, like the ghost look? Because I thought Disney would have had that sort of technology sort of perfected, but here Warner Brothers doing it, and of course they're doing it on the cheap. I mean, do you know how they would have done it?
I wish I knew. It's a really interesting effect, but it doesn't work sometimes. Like, you can see kind of, like, when that milk bowl was disappearing, like, you could kind of see the cat, like, twice, like, his cells overlapping each other, if that makes any sense. So, obviously, they weren't up to the standards of, like, what the Fleischers were doing. They weren't doing it around this time, but, like, before, when they were pushing the envelope. But it doesn't really work out, but at least they're making the effort. By the way, this is great Scribner stuff.
Yeah, you can see the wrinkles there. Great stuff there. But, you know, I do like this particular short. But there's a lot of talking, and, you know, with Michael Maltese, whose previous appearance of this, of course, was in You Ought to Be in Pictures, where you literally see Michael Maltese, who plays the guard at the gate. But this is a sort of thing that would end up being in the Chuck Jones cartoons later on, where Maltese and Chuck would, you know, team up and make some of the greatest cartoons ever made. But I don't know, is that something you noticed as well with this one? That's very, I suppose, talky in a witty sort of way.
Well, if I can speak for a second, I do notice it, but it reminds me more of the later Looney Tunes shorts from, like, the 50s. Because that's what I feel like Looney Tunes became as time went on, was very, like, witty, very much filled with wit. And this makes me think of things to come.
Yeah. I would say so. I mean, what do you think, Austin?
I mean, I definitely agree. I do think this is kind of the levels of dialogue are kind of ahead of its time, but not necessarily in a good way. I mean, I don't think the cartoon itself, story-wise, is that great, but I do think, I will say, it is beautifully designed, and the animation is absolutely phenomenal. As was the animation from the Tex Avery unit, but you don't have an excuse not to churn out the best animation ever when you have Virgil Ross and Rod Scribner and McKimson and the other McKimson brother, which no one really cares about, rightfully so.
That's not very nice.
No, definitely not. But the ending to this one is pretty interesting. I thought it was just. Tell me if I'm overlooking something, but so in the beginning you see it's like they got a population of 100 ghosts. The cat, of course, becomes a ghost. Spoiler alert, sorry. But then the mouse leaves and crosses out the thing and writes 99 ghosts. Well, wouldn't it be 100 ghosts again if the mouse leaves and the cat's now a ghost in here?
Well, I think maybe the tally went up as soon as the cat died. We didn't see that.
No, well, then it would have gone to 101, wouldn't it?
Well, we don't know how... Was the sign in an earlier part of the short?
It was.
Oh, okay, then never mind. You're right. I missed that.
I don't know, but that's okay. Look, honestly, I'll just say what they say in The Simpsons and just say, you know what, a wizard did it, and that's it. Who cares? I'm not gonna think about these sort of things too much.
You know what? Maybe it's Avery saying that cats don't have souls, so they can't be ghosts.
Maybe
Something else.
Ooh.
Maybe, but yeah, like as you mentioned, Austin, it's going to be now interesting to see how the directors who were used to doing one particular, I guess, product for a few years now are forced to diversify. So it'll be interesting to see how they go, because
that match is sitting on top of his foot.
Yeah, great animation there.
Are you talking about them trying to do the black and white cartoons? Like having to do...
Yeah, like sort of...
I mean...
Yeah, so basically having...
That's an interesting point, but this isn't really not... They don't really take advantage of the black and white in any of these things. I mean, they could have worked just as well as color cartoons, I think. So they're kind of... I mean, I don't even know... This is just a wild guess, but maybe... They didn't even maybe they didn't even know which cartoons were gonna be in black and white. So, like, they were made in color, but that's completely dumb. I really doubt that.
Yeah, I don't think the Australian would go for the extra expense. So, yeah, as we wind down, look, it's a nice little cartoon. Not Avery's best, not Maltese's best for that matter, but it's nice to look at. So, thoughts, guys? Final thoughts, quickly?
Good short.
The beautiful short, but not a funny one.
Okay, so thanks very much for listening, guys, and until next time, take care.
Boom, boom.